Okay, I want to do a quick version of a tutorial on voices. So let's say you want to put eighth notes and quarter notes up here in the same staff. Um, Kind of like maybe you want soprano part with quarter notes and an alto part with some eighth notes. So of one way of doing that, sort of. Let's see. I'm trying to think what notes would be good to put in here. But let's enter some soprano notes that are eighth notes. But they're in doubles. And then let's enter some alto notes that are eighth notes. And then we could put in a bunch of ties. Ties for the soprano notes to get the effect that we're looking for. Let's see how that sounds. Okay. Now let's do the same thing in the next measure, but let's do it by using voices. So in order to use voices, the first thing I'm going to show you is let's say you want to switch some notes to a different voice. So over here you can see I've got the soprano and alto notes. The soprano notes, the stems are pointing up. The alto notes, the stems are pointing down. Here, in this measure, the stems are all stuck together, so they're either going all up or all down. But let's say I want to change that. I'm going to take the selector tool, I'm going to select all my alto notes, and then I'm going to right click on one of them, click set to voice. Let's do voice 2. So you can see that's got them all separated out nicely. So that's the first thing I want to show you. The second thing I want to show you is how to color code all the notes based on what voice they are. So you're going to go to options, you're going to go to show, and then you're going to come down to symbols in color. And right now I've got voice 1 in this brown color, I've got voice 2 in this blue color, and I've got voice 3 in this purple color. Now I think that purple color is a little hard to see, so the third thing I'm going to show you is how to change the color. Go to options, go to preferences, and then click colors up here, and then I'm going to change the color of voice 3. Let's do, I think this purple will be easier to see. A little bit easier to see. But if you don't like that purple still, then you can change it to something else. Normally the default for voice 1 is black, but I've already changed it to brown. Okay, so now the fourth thing that I'm going to show is probably the most important thing. I'm going to show how to enter essentially the same rhythm without without having to use these ties. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, well, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the soprano part with quarter notes, okay? So we got B, C, D, E. That's the same soprano part as we got here. Here we got it with all ties, here we got it with quarter notes. Now, if I try and take eighth notes and put it in here to mimic that, it's not going to work. It's going to do that kind of thing. So let's not do that. What we have to do in order to get it to work, we have to, so up here in the top right, got to click on all, and there's a menu for the different voices. So click on voice 2, and that lets you enter notes directly into voice 2. If you don't click on voice 2, if you just have all voices selected, you're only going to be able to enter notes into voice 1, and then after you've entered them into voice 1, you can try and select them and change them to a different voice, but that gets tedious, so let's just enter them directly into voice 2. Okay, so we want copying that measure before, so we're going to have F and D and G, E, F. Actually, I'm going to show one more thing real quick. Options, auto. If you unclick auto beam, well, if you run into problems with, well, sometimes if you run into problems with spacing or the notes are all separate, it might be because you didn't have auto beam checked. So for me, when I'm entering eighth notes, I like to make sure that auto beam is checked. But let's see how this sounds. Not too bad.